Hi everyone. No matter what I do, 'cause it's everything but you. No matter what we do, 'cause you know you're not my boo. No matter what we do, 'cause you know I'm crazy over you. No matter what I do, 'cause no matter what we do, oh, no matter what I do, 'cause I'm crazy over you. 'Cause you know you're not my boo. You can be the greatest, I can be the best. No matter with my boo, 'cause I'm crazy over you. No matter what I do, man, I'm crazy over you. How's everyone doing? Thank you for joining me. Don't forget to hit that like. I can't break, I'm waiting for the exhale. No love, but oh well. And let everybody know. There's no love, but oh well. How you doing? Happy Saturday to you too. Hit that like button, please. Hi, little baby. How you doing? Welcome back. Long time no see. It was nice seeing you on Richard's channel. How long they been with you? Grandchildren. Or a week or they vacation or something, they're not in school. There's no love. Oh. You were all your grandchildren or all 10 of them? That's a lot of grandchildren. Are you running a daycare? I'm just joking. I only got 4. So 4 is still a lot though to deal with. For one person. And they love to eat, right? So you gotta feed them good. Trust me, when I was a kid, I loved to eat too. I still love to eat, but I can't eat much. You're always in the kitchen, you know? I know from experience because I love to eat. And as a kid, you know. What are you making them? I know you can never get a break. But you get a break in a few when they leave. Unless you get more grandchildren coming. Thank you, Sean. Yeah, you need a break. And even when you get a break, you still don't get a break. Oh, that's good. Mm. Yeah, I'm having rallies, or known as checkers. It's pretty good. I have at least once a month. Yo, and food this month is getting expensive. Like, what the hell? I'm being debt forever. Because I'm gonna be rotating my credit cards like until the day I die. And that's that. Yep. Unless one day this YouTube channel works out and I make a lot of money on YouTube and I would never be on credit card debt. If I make millions, I will pay. If I ever make millions of dollars, I would pay one person's credit card debt. How you doing, Noah? Pay one person's credit card debt. If I'm once I make my first million. That's $10,000. They have to send me the bill because I don't trust people like that. They send me the bill and I'll pay it off. Because you never know. They can say, oh, I'm going to pay it. They don't pay it. Oh, yeah, I see. That could change somebody's life. You know, $10,000 off a credit card bill. Especially if I'm making money like Mr. Beast. I don't drive. I prefer be driven around. So if I come visit one of y'all gotta drive me around. I like to be the passenger prince. Hi Jenny. I like to be driven around. I don't like to drive. So if I ever come visit you, like I said, you have to drive me around. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, but yeah. Yep. Yep. I'll take selfies. Oh, I do YouTube videos, being the passenger prince. Yep. Because there's a lot of things you can do. You know, you can't if you're driving, you can't get high. You can't drink. Or you're not supposed to. You cannot text. A lot of you got to be responsible when you're a driver. A lot of responsibilities. You have your life and a lot of people's lives in your hands. You know, and you could lose that freedom. I know you don't drive, but Ali, how you doing? But technically, I could get a self-driving car, but I don't have that money right now. You could lose your freedom, and you could lose a lot of money. Sean B. And you can even lose your life. And the thing is, sometimes my legs fall asleep when I'm like if I drive. So I don't want to take a chance that if you have health issues, I don't think you should really be driving. Especially if you especially long periods of time. Especially if you got very bad back problems. That your legs fall asleep. So, talking about legs falling asleep, my foot is falling asleep. So, so even though you could drive with your hands only, but then you need more training for that. That costs money. So, and yeah, I'll come. I just want to get subscribers. If people could subscribe to my channel through him. I don't really care about making money right now. It's at 1 a.m. We're usually in another channel, but I'll come by though. I might have to multitask, but yeah, I can do that. No, Carson, no all caps, please. Not on this channel. We don't do that here. No all caps. Thank you. Please don't do that again. I have to remove that. Yeah, that's one of my rules. We don't do all caps here. It's considered yelling. It's fucking hot in my apartment. I just turned on the AC. Because when it's too hot and I start sweating a lot, I get headaches. I just ate french fries. I have five chicken tenders left. And I'm full. I'm only 2 subs to 750, so. A lot of channels have that rule. I'm not the only one. We don't type all caps here. If he does it again, you just time him out. Time him out for half an hour. Then if he comes back and does the second time, then you ban him. But we don't type all caps here. Oh, he don't go on long? Oh, that's good. Yeah, I might multitask, but that's fine. Ashley usually goes live at that time. I don't know. Sometimes she does. Cake Spoo is usually on another channel. I'm usually on another channel, but I can multitask. I can do 2 things at once, so. That's the good thing sometimes about having ADHD. You're cool then. They'll just. I'm happy you fixed it though. So. Everyone, let's get me to 10 likes today. Might not have 4. This is when you order a 5-piece chicken tenders, this is what they give you. They give you honey barbecue honey mustard. That's the one that I only like. So Yeah, sometimes on your if you're using your cell phone, it automatically all caps though. Yeah. And you're right. I know Ashley was on like what 7 hours ago. Were you on Ashley's channel, Sean B, when she went live? Oh, nothing. I don't know what I do. What? Oh boy. Last night I was high like how this weed I'm smoking. I just said let me get $20 worth of weed, and like 7 hours ago. You didn't. Also, you don't know that, cause yeah, I wasn't on. That's why I asked you if he was on. Mm. Yeah, let's get me the 10 likes. I would prefer 20, but I don't think that's gonna happen. Not at least yet. Maybe one day when I get when I get 1,000 subscribers. But I'm there. I'm getting close, which is good. I'm the type of person I learned back then. I would have gave up YouTube, but not anymore. Never give up. And I anti-gun. Yeah, we're anti-war. What did everybody do today? Or, and I want to know what everybody had for dinner. As well, I'm interested what people like to eat. I didn't do much. I was high as hell. I woke up late. I missed my MRI, to be honest. I rescheduled for next Friday. I didn't want to go over there, and then the machine wasn't working, so. Yeah. I reschedule. I can't. I reschedule online. That's good. 45-minute break is good. So you're making 5 burgers? What kind of toppings you put in it? Do you put pickles, like all that stuff? Lettuce, tomato, cucumber, all that good stuff. Onions. Or you just put cheese, ketchup, and that's it. And you gotta have fries. No fries. No French fries. You gotta have fries. That's the fun part about it. Root beer, that's good. Do you fry them or you air fry them? Oh, my back hurts like that. With it, yeah. I know Sean B be good. I know Sean B be eating good. Eating good food. I don't like root beer. It's not my thing. As you see, I'm always drinking Diet Coke. Yeah. 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 No, it's not my thing. Yeah. I know there was a protest today in New York City. Somebody invited me to go. I said, nah, I can't go. I have my dog. If I get arrested, she gonna die. So I said, if I didn't have a dog, I would go. I said I have priorities. So priorities come first. Yeah, water. I get water. I drink water too.
To start, breaking news here. President Trump says he's commuting George Santos's prison sentence. The former Long Island congressman is 3 months into a 7-year sentence. A live look here right now at FCI Fairton, the prison where he's being held. Santos reported there in July after pleading guilty to wire fraud and identity theft charges last year. In a Truth Social post, the president said Santos has been horribly mistreated and he will be released immediately. Santos' attorney released a statement writing in part, I am forever grateful to President Trump for seeing the human side of the suffering that Congressman Santos went through. He was in solitary confinement in protective custody due to threats against his life, end quote. Joining me now to discuss next steps is political expert J.C. Polanco. J.C., thank you for being here with us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Let's get right into it here. First,
I
are you
might become.
surprised by
I'm
this
thinking of
move
becoming
from
a
the president at
journalist.
all?
Technically, I am,
That's a
but
good question.
if I get the
I'm not
license,
surprised
I can go to
that it
courtrooms and
happened. I'm
stuff.
surprised of when it happened.
So
I mean, he just got sentenced. He just went in. I thought it was going to take a little longer. So I'm not surprised, however, that the president used his power to commute people that had looked out for him, people that he supports, people that have supported him throughout some tough times. We have seen this incredible power to
I gotta
commute
wait a
and
couple of
pardon
years.
be used by
That's
presidents
my goal.
for a very long time. This is an incredible power that the president of the United States has, and he's been known to use it and use it often.
So, JC, a commutation is different from a pardon altogether. Santos' record won't be wiped clean here. Why do you think the president chose this route instead of a full pardon?
I think a lot of it has to do because of the people that were defrauded. If you recall, George Santos represented an area that supported President Trump. President Trump has a strong connection to Long Island. George Santos is incredibly unpopular in Long Island for the fraud that he committed and the way he lied himself into Congress. And he hurt a lot of people. So a complete pardon would have said, I, as president and on behalf of the United States, forgive you of all of your crimes. This, however, says, you're not forgiven for what you did. You're still a criminal, but those 87 months and change, we can forget about it. Let's just say time served. Have a good life, which is what the president ends up saying in his commutation. Very different. So he doesn't have a completely clean slate to start with. He's still a federal convict.
And I know it's early here, but do you think George Santos will try to run for office again?
I don't know whether or not he's going to try to run from office.
Technically, he
From
could
the
run for
character that
president.
George Santos was when he was out of jail and out of federal prison, I can tell you, I saw him on Cameo several times, charging hundreds of dollars to sing happy birthday to you if you wanted. So I can see him having a reality show. I can see him very popular with podcasts.
He looks
George
gay,
Santos is
though.
going to be very, very well off on YouTube somewhere.
All right, what comes next? We will wait and see. JC Palenko, thank you so much for being here with us tonight.
Everybody
Thank you so
left?
much.
Dang, that
The surprise
sucks.
announcement from President Trump came early.
Oh. I know it's zombies. I know you're still here. So. Thank you for being here.
This is a Google map of Manhattan, and this right here is Broadway. It's a notable street because in Midtown Manhattan, it doesn't follow the grid, but cuts across it and forms some of the most iconic spaces in the city, including Herald Square, home to Macy's, and Times Square, home to creepy mascots and way too many tourists. It's one of the most famous streets in the world, and it's disappearing. You can see that Google Maps draws streets in gray lines.
Yeah.
North of 59th Street, like here at Lincoln Center, it's a broad boulevard slicing through the Upper West Side. But at Columbus Circle, things change. Broadway narrows down to a two-lane, one-way street. At 49th Street, it shrinks to only a single lane. By Times Square and 42nd Street, there are no lanes at all. From Times Square down to Lower Manhattan, it switches between a single lane to none at all. Looking at the overall Google Maps view, it almost seems to disappear from the map entirely. One of the greatest streets in the world vanishing from the map. Of course, Broadway isn't gone, not really, it's just different. Instead of multiple lanes of fast-moving traffic, you have pedestrian spaces, outdoor seating, bike lanes, plazas, and more. In fact, these elements change from block to block, seemingly at random. I wanted to understand this wicked cool transformation of one of America's greatest streets, so I walked from Madison Square Park to Columbus Circle in a freaking heat wave to see what Broadway has become. Spoiler alert, it's a lot better, but it's not perfect. Let's figure out why after the bike bell. New York created a whole bunch of new plazas when redesigning Broadway, in the areas where Broadway crosses major avenues. Previously, they were car-choked, awkward intersections, and getting through them was like herding cats. But today, they are simpler for drivers, and they created new public space in the Broadway right-of-way. This is right near Madison Square Park, where Broadway crosses Fifth Avenue. You can see that where there once were cars, today there's cafe seating, umbrellas, a little coffee stand, all protected by some large rocks used as protection from cars. This is straight out of the Tactical Urbanism playbook. Tactical urbanism is defined as low-cost, temporary urban design interventions to create inviting, human-scale
How you
public
doing?
spaces. If the
The wild
interventions are successful,
chill.
they can be made permanent. If not, they can just be removed no problem. There are some elements of tactical urbanism that are pretty standard these
I'm
days.
good.
Akin of parts that cities can deploy to create more pedestrian-friendly public spaces. These include obstacles like these boulders to separate cars from people. It can mean paint to liven up the ground surface and again indicate that this is a space for people and not cars. Movable furniture like cafe seating and food trucks can liven up a space and draw people in, particularly during lunch and office-heavy locations like Midtown Manhattan. Once proven successful, these temporary materials can be replaced with more permanent solutions. Paint can become pavers, boulders can become planters, and you can build in some nice benches too. Times Square is the first space along Broadway to be transformed in this way, and you can see that it has the nicest, most permanent materials. Now, there's still some cars in this area of Broadway, but only one lane with just a few parking spaces. It feels like an afterthought, especially when compared to the traffic of Fifth Avenue. Once you start heading north, car lanes disappear entirely, and you're left with a street that's mostly seating and a bike lane. Honestly, I remember back in grad school like 15 years ago, I dreamed of streets where the main lanes would be bike lanes with no cars, and this is basically it. It's crazy to me that this is not on some random slow street, but instead on Broadway. I'd like to put this transformation in context, so let's take a brief history moment to talk about how Broadway got to this point in time. Broadway, more than any other street in New York, is a reflection of the city's history, as it has constantly changed to meet the needs of each era. The street started as a trail up the island of Manhattan created by the Wesquesquik people who lived there before Europeans built a settlement there. It was a useful north-south route, and the Dutch settlers used it and widened it, making it one of the most important roads from essentially the founding of the colony. The Dutch called it their High Street or Highway, and when the English took over the colony, they called it Broadway, because, well, it was really broad. As the city grew and started moving up Manhattan, a regular grid pattern was laid over the island, but the existing streets were allowed to remain irregular. Broadway was the only major thoroughfare north of the existing city, and was allowed to remain in defiance of the regular grid. As I said, its intersections with major north-south avenues created unique spaces that became important landmarks in the growing city, like Times Square. The rapid adoption of the automobile in the early years of the 20th century changed cities forever, and they also changed Broadway. The part of Broadway from Times Square to 72nd Street was called Automobile Row, filled with car showrooms, making it a major center for the newly sprouted car industry in the United States.
My neck.
It makes sense. A big wide street in the middle of the biggest city in the US, of course it would be a place for cars, right? We've been called Broadway Automobile Row for decades now, and it's better known for a metonym for the theater industry clustered along it, particularly in the Times Square area. But it was still a busy, noisy street filled with cars for a long time. The gradual process of pedestrianization, to me, is symbolic of progress in our cities. If Broadway, a street named for how wide it is, and used to be called Automobile Row, can now effectively be evicting all cars from its busiest, most culturally significant stretch, then some real change must be happening out there. It gives me some hope. The city is pedestrianizing Broadway according to its Broadway Vision Plan, announced in 2021. It's an extension of the initial efforts during the Bloomberg administration to pedestrianize Times Square, which turned out to be a success. It proved that removing traffic on a busy street could be viable when all the conventional wisdom at the time was saying that pedestrian malls were a guaranteed flop, destined to ruin businesses along it. Times Square today seems to be doing just fine, and the rest of Broadway seems to be doing pretty well, at least based on my visit. Please don't judge Broadway entirely based on my footage, though. I know it looks like there aren't that many people around. This was during the East Coast heat wave in June. I took my walk at like 7:30 in the morning to avoid the worst of the heat. Some like it hot, but not this wimpy Californian. Now, the tactical urbanism continues as you walk north toward Herald Square, home to Macy's and the Thanksgiving Day Parade. There are cars allowed for the next few blocks. I'm not sure if that was because there were a couple of high-rent hotels along this stretch, and it's nice for them to have taxi access. I guess that's maybe my biggest critique of the space, that there's a lot of inconsistency in the configuration of the spaces. Sometimes you don't have to worry about cars, but sometimes you do. Sometimes there's a bike lane, and sometimes it's sharrows. Sometimes the bike lane is directly in the middle of the street, and sometimes it's not. I get the feeling that the producers of this space seemingly redesigned Broadway block by block, without a lot of consultation about what was happening in the previous block. That actually brings up kind of an interesting planning philosophy conundrum. You have this world-famous street. Do you treat it as a single unified entity, or as many separate streets as it cuts through neighborhoods? The unified entity model is also basically the Paris Boulevard model. When Haussmann cut those boulevards through the city, he had the authority to make the street completely uniform, going so far as to even tear down the buildings along the street and impose strict design standards on the new buildings, creating a uniform experience. The boulevards became a distinct place, separate from the character of the neighborhoods around them. Or is it better for Broadway to morph and change configuration based on neighborhood needs and wants? This ultimately makes Broadway a local street more than
I have
one
a
for
lot of
moving
cramping in
through
my
or
neck.
serving tourists. That's clearly what New York chose. I mean, the Houseman model only really works when you have a dictator supporting your efforts and you're cool with displacing like a ton of people and making them look as haggard as the cast of Les Mis. You can see here that the city worked closely with neighborhood groups like the Times Square Alliance, Garment District Alliance, 34th Street Partnership, Flatiron Nomad Partnership, and the Union Square Partnership to develop.
For a while now, we've reported on changes coming to SNAP, formerly known as food stamps, and how it could impact Western New York. Well, now it looks like the impact will be felt sooner than expected. The changes come from the so-called Big Beautiful Bill Act that passed Congress and was signed by President Trump, which institutes stricter work requirements to get food assistance, also some paperwork that didn't have to happen before. It's something Republicans say has broad support and will deal with fraud, waste, and abuse. We thought that New York would have until March to start enforcing the work requirement, but now it looks like that could be in November. Democratic Congressman Tim Kennedy reacting to that earlier today.
Their gutting of nutritional assistance benefits is about to run out at the end of this month. Both SNAP benefits, Supplemental Nutritional Assistance Program benefits that people depend on to put food on their table, as well as WIC benefits, the Women, Infant, and Children benefits, that is already on life support. People are going to have difficulty putting food on their table in our community and across this nation.
That's true.
Colin Bishop is Chief Communications Officer for Feed More Western New York, and he's joining us live here
A lot of us are gonna
tonight.
starve to death.
I apologize. We can go ahead and take the shot, guys. I'll explain what's going on because we've got, I have the wrong graphic in behind me, GG's, which we talked about yesterday. We're going to switch that in just a second. But Colin, thanks for coming in. Good to see you.
You too, Michael.
So walk me through why this change is happening right now, because we thought, and this is significant because the timing matters, right? Organizations like Feed More Western New York thought you had more time to deal with this. Households who rely on the benefits thought they had more time.
Correct. And so the way that SNAP programs work, federal government provides money to the state, and the state doles it out to the counties, and the county social services departments handle everybody in the community who receives those SNAP benefits. So the state just learned this month that that waiver you mentioned was expiring early. And now the social service departments around the state are busy notifying all the clients in their communities that if they are one of these able-bodied adults without dependents who need to now meet these new work requirements, that they are going to have some new requirements involved in receiving benefits.
I know
Doesn't apply to
organizations
me,
like Feed
so.
More have expressed concern with the work requirements because the polling shows, I mean, a lot of Americans believe that you should, be able to prove that you're working in order to get these benefits. What are the concerns that you have with that and the impact it could have on people?
So I think what's important to know about SNAP, first off, is, it stands for the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. It's supplemental. It was never meant to be the sole way that everybody gets the food that they need. So it's designed to help provide assistance to people who need a little bit of nutritional assistance every month. That's the similar work that we do at Feed More. What our mission is and the work we do through the food bank and the partner agencies that we have, soup kitchens, food pantries, we're supplemental. We're hopefully not providing all of the nutritional assistance that people need, but SNAP is that first line of defense. So when somebody or a family, an individual, a veteran, whoever it is, receive SNAP benefits, hopefully that's keeping them out of the pantry, out of the food bank network. When those benefits go down or if they don't qualify for it, that puts more of a strain on our network and the pantry system.
Well, and already you've been preparing to have to help people more for myriad reasons, right? Food costs are still going up. The economy sort of is what it is. How much does this sort of catching everybody off guard complicate all of that?
Yeah, it's coming at a rough time. We're already seeing, anecdotally an increase in people coming to food pantries this month alone, because we know that there are federal government employees who are not receiving paychecks, who are on furlough. So the need in the community is already growing this month. I don't have numbers on that. It's too soon to know, but we've heard from partner agencies already saying, you know, this month alone is up 15-20% more than it was last month. You know, that's one or two that we're hearing from. When we get more of that information in the coming weeks for the remainder of this month, we'll have a better picture of what that toll was like on the charitable food network here.
Soon I'm gonna have to go to the pantry.
Now we're going to potentially add in people who are losing or having less SNAP dollars, the potential that, you know, if this goes on, that there are no SNAP dollars allocated to anyone in the month of November. It could be a lot of additional people in need of nutritional assistance in the month of November.
Finally, what would just be your advice to someone who's watching who is used to getting SNAP benefits, maybe who falls into that category? And again, we want to be clear to everybody, it's not like everyone who gets SNAP is all of a sudden going to lose them. This is people who don't qualify under the new rules. But what should they be thinking about right now?
Sure. So anybody who's impacted by this change for the work requirements, they'll be contacted by the Social Services Department. They'll be notified about what they need to do and any immediate impact. Anybody who is receiving SNAP and is worried that there may not be money in the month of November, know that Feed More Western New York and our partner agencies are here to help you and support you. If you lose your SNAP dollars in the month of November, we have resources on our website to help you find food assistance, look for the different ways that you can find a pantry or other nutritional assistance near you. So feedmorewny.org, find food. And for the rest of the community who may be hearing this and realize that there is an increased need potentially in the month of November and want to help, our website also has resources on how you can donate, how you can volunteer, or other ways that you can help spread the word and get people help.
Important message, no doubt. Colin Bishop, Chief Communications Officer with Feed More Western New York. Have a great weekend. Thank you.
Have a great weekend. That's fine. Guys, I'm gonna take a break. I'll be back later. Thank you for joining me. Maybe I'll be back at 8 o'clock. I'm gonna take a 20-minute break. Thank you, Sean B. I'll be back.